What are your thoughts on this protest?
Well, these guys are paid. They're so organized. I mean, it's less than even 24 hours. They got hundreds of signs made. It's almost like they have a print shop in the back of their People's Forum over here down in the city. That being said, that if you looked at all the videos out on the internet, the people in Venezuela are happy that this is happening because now they don't have to deal with socialism and communism. But the people who are actual socialists and communists are here in America protesting against what's good for the better people in Venezuela, and that's the sad part.
Thank
you know, and this is they want to turn this country into what that country is. You know, they don't want this country to be good. These people want to live in socialism and communism.
How is it related to Palestine? They're talking about Palestine.
How is it related to Palestine? I don't know. I mean,
I'm trying to figure it out.
There is no relationship with it. These people are just pretty much, like I said, they're bored liberals that have nothing better to do. They're funded, better than probably, I think, one of the best funded people in the world. Probably $18 million a year, from what I understand, they get funded.
I confronted Manolo dos Santos, leader of the People's Forum. I said, you know, you guys got paid $20 million a year by Roy Neville Singham to paid protests. And he had no response. He didn't.
Yeah, well, he actually never says a word. He'll never, because he knows once he opens up his mouth, he whatchamacallit, he incriminates himself. So that's why
he's getting arrested at every other protest.
Yeah, but he's getting arrested,
which we
pay for. And he was also, what do you call it? He was also a couple of times I've seen him with paid security, armed paid security, walking down the block with them in a protest, which is also illegal to do. What does this have to do with Palestine? Absolutely nothing. But it's the same people who protested BLM, who are protesting Gaza, protesting Venezuela, protesting anti-Trump, no kings. Yeah.
So, family, we got to talk about this because the internet is on fire right now. Socialists, communists, leftists, all the same crowd. They are losing their minds because Nicolás Maduro, aka Venezuela's longtime dictator, just got arrested by the United States. Yeah, you heard that right. The United States arrested a sitting dictator, and now he's about to stand here on trial, or stand trial here on American soil. And guess what? Venezuela's, the actual people that suffered under him, they are celebrating. They're dancing in the streets. They're crying tears of joy. But you know who's mad? American socialists, the U.S. left-wing Twitter warriors, the people who claim they're about freedom, democracy, and anti-authoritarianism. They are pissed. And I'm sitting here like, what are y'all mad about? Do y'all even know why you are mad? Because from what I'm seeing, it ain't about Venezuelan people. It ain't about democracy. It's about your ideology. You're mad that one of your socialist idols just got taken down. That's it. Because I don't know what else. But don't take my word for it. Check it out.
Check out that communist flag over there.
What brings you out here today?
I'm organized with the Revolutionary Communists of America. We're out here to say hands off Venezuela. And we unequivocally stand with the people of Venezuela against U.S. imperialist aggression.
What do you think about the people of Venezuela celebrating on the streets?
What?
What do you think about the people of Venezuela celebrating on the streets today?
I saw images of Venezuelans being bombed after the U.S., bombed Caracas. So I'm not sure what you're talking about, but yeah, I think you should definitely
show me the bombings that you're talking about. I didn't see any.
I don't know. I just saw it on Reddit. It was on the front page of the internet.
Reddit.
So
okay.
I don't know.
But what do you think about the people celebrating? The hundreds of thousands of people that are in the streets celebrating.
I have yet to see it. Can you show me that?
Yeah.
Sure. U.S. imperialism.
People celebrating on the streets here. What do you think about that?
I mean, at the end of the day, I stand with the people of Venezuela against U.S. imperialism. The U.S. has no right to bomb the people of Venezuela. The U.S. has no right to kidnap another leader of another.
Celebrating? Why are they celebrating?
I don't know. Do you have a correspondent there who can ask? I'm here demonstrating against. I'm here demonstrating against U.S. imperialism and the U.S. intervention.
Is this AI though? These images of everybody
I don't know. You're the one showing me the video, so let me know. You're showing me the source. I don't know.
I don't think it's AI because it's being published by multiple news organizations. So just what are your thoughts on it?
I'm here protesting U.S. intervention, U.S. imperialism, and U.S. capitalism.
My man is like a robot. You could tell he just remembering whatever was on the script told him by the paid, being paid protesters, right? You can tell. My man can't even speak for himself. Imperialism and capitalism and United States aggression, imperialism and capitalism. My man like on repeat. He's like a Autobot. Like, see, this is why I keep saying they don't care about dictatorship. They just care about who the dictator is. Like, let me break it down. They went from saying no kings, no dictators, no Trump, he's Hitler, to now defending a real life dictator just because he calls himself a socialist. Make it make sense. These are the same people who cried about fascism every single day during the Trump years, right? Screamed about how authoritarianism is bad, but the moment it's someone from their team, all that goes out the window. Suddenly they're cool with dictators. Suddenly regime change is bad. Suddenly removing a guy who literally stole elections and ran this country into the ground is somehow imperialist and wrong. Nah, fam, that's a mask off moment. That tells you exactly what they really believe. They don't care about democracy. They care about power. I'm talking about these left lunatics, these extreme left woke individuals that worship ideology off of the cost of American values. And it's the most anti-American thing ever. And this tells you what the Democrat Party is. And these people rather stand out here like bots, being democratic bots of fools, when really they're on the side of deceivers, but they're so paid and bought that no matter what you say to them, this man is speaking like an Autobot. He's like on replay, a script straight off the dome, just speaking a bunch of words. But when you ask why, or what do you mean, or why are Venezuelans celebrating? Oh, I don't know. I read off a thing off of Reddit. What are you talking about? Bro, they're celebrating. I know you've seen it. So we could keep talking about imperialism. Okay, I get your point, but you don't even understand what U.S. aggression is taking place here. Oh, the bombing? Who died? Any of the U.S., any of the Venezuelans got hurt? Any of U.S. servicemen and women? And shout out to my veterans and those who are in the service. I appreciate you and love you guys. Nobody got hurt, right? And the wild part is the most people affected by this, Venezuelans themselves, they're not complaining. They are thankful. And you should be thankful as an American, not doing this anti-American bull crap, for the simple fact that you actually enjoy the luxuries of not having to experience a dictatorship. These people had to flee their own country because Maduro made it literally unlivable. We talking starvation, no jobs, inflation through the roof, corruption, police state type stuff. And when he gets arrested, what do you see? Venezuelan Americans in places like New York and Miami waving flags, cheering, celebrate like it's a national holiday, because for them it is. But the American socialists, the woke crowd, they're more worried about their little revolution cosplay than actual real people. They're mad their guy got caught. Their guy got caught. And let's talk about New York for a second, because that's where Maduro is being held right now, in federal custody in New York City. And bro, one of the biggest crybabies in all this, socialist politician from New York named Zohran Mamdani. This guy has never worked in the private sector, never worked a real job, or he interned at his mama's business. He never took a government state job. He never was a public official before, right? He is big mad. Democrat socialist Zohran Mamdani. This man got on camera and said he called the president. Don't take my word for it. I want you guys to see it for yourselves. This fool is crazy.
Excuse me? Sorry?
This is Nicolás Maduro coming in to America on American soil in New York City.
Good night. Happy New Year.
Scrum in what looks like a maybe a gray or blue sweatshirt. We saw him a little bit earlier on the image that the president posted, blindfolded and handcuffed, and it appears maybe he's still blindfolded in a gray sweatshirt, which would likely come off as blue, given the daylight scenario, the lack of daylight over there. Again, Ambassador Bolton, who was behind the push? Who really wanted him out? And then number two, was there ever a plan for day two?
Well, I think the problem in the first term, a lot of the president's senior advisors wanted to work with the opposition to overthrow Maduro, who had stolen the 2018 election in Venezuela, just like he recently stole the 2024 election. Our problem was that trying to keep Trump's attention to it, and there was.
I was briefed by my first deputy mayor, my chief of staff, my chief counsel, the police commissioner, as well as other members of my team. I called the president and spoke with him directly to register my opposition to this act and to make clear that it was an opposition based on being opposed to a pursuit of regime change, to the violation of federal and international law, and a desire to see that be consistent each and every day.
And Congress.
I registered my opposition, I made it clear, and we left it at that.
Thanks, Timmy.
And there you have it, folks. Zohran Mamdani. Listen, man, Donald Trump ain't listening to no baby. Are you crazy, man? The grown folks are back in office, baby. We ain't got time, baby. The grown folks are back in office, baby. We ain't listening to that nonsense, right? So, Zohran Mamdani, he had put this on X. I was briefed this morning on the U.S. military capture of Venezuelan President Nicolás Maduro and his wife, as well as their planned imprisonment in federal custody here in New York City. Unilaterally, attacking a sovereign nation is an act of war and a violation of federal and international law. This blatant pursuit of regime change doesn't just affect those abroad, it directly impacts New Yorkers, including tens of thousands of Venezuelans who call this city home. My focus is their safety and the safety of every New Yorker, and my administration will continue to monitor the situation and issue relevant guidance. So, Zohran, this man got on camera and said he called the president, called Trump, to express his opposition to Maduro's arrest. Imagine that a U.S. politician going out his way to defend a foreign dictator who literally ruined millions of lives just because that dictator calls himself a socialist. And we know that Zohran Mamdani is a democratic socialist, so it makes sense, right? But the simple fact is, it tells you that this is the most anti-American thing, and these people are telling you who they are to their face, and these people are still voting Democrat. Why? And let me just point out, when asked what Trump said back to him, dude just said, we'll leave it at that. Translation, Trump didn't answer. Trump saw that call ID, probably hit ignore so fast, gave his phone whiplash. Zohran probably left a voicemail and got left on red. Like, come on, bro. Nobody got time for your little political games, your political theater. Trump ain't talking to you. You a baby, bro. You out here making emotional long-distance calls for a man who ain't even your president. Crazy. But Zohran said that the U.S. unilaterally attacked a sovereign nation and that it's a violation of international law. My guy, what are you talking about? First of all, this dude is acting like Maduro didn't commit serious crimes. He's wanted for drug trafficking, money laundering, and terrorism, and against the U.S. and his own people. This ain't about some peaceful socialist leader getting snatched out of his house. This is about a thug in a suit who's been on the run for years and finally got caught slipping. It's like when they finally got El Chapo or Saddam, right? That kind of a moment. But no, according to the left, this is somehow imperialist. This is an imperialist, right? Bro, tell that to the Venezuelans who've been starving for a decade while this dude living like a king. And then Zohran had the audacity to say this affect New Yorkers, especially Venezuelan immigrants. Bro, you mean the same Venezuelans who were just out in the streets celebrating? Like, make that make sense. Venezuelan immigrants support Maduro's arrest. They are the ones who lived through that horror show. They escaped it, but now the dude from Queens, an immigrant at that, Democrat socialist, got he's a mayor now. He thinks he's the bomb, right? Is speaking for them, telling the world they're hurt by this. No, Zohran, you are hurt because this shows who you really are and what you really value as being anti-American. Because your ideology just took a public L. And that's where I want to get to Daniel DiMartino, right? Shout out to him on News Nation. He's a Venezuelan immigrant who came to the U.S., escaped the socialist nightmare, and built a better life here in the United States. I'm just giving a backstory, quick context, and he said exactly what needed to be said. Check it out.
Daniel DiMartino, he's a Venezuelan immigrant and Manhattan Institute fellow. Nice to see you. Thanks for being here. You said you have extended family in Venezuela, and one of your friends actually experienced an explosion close to her windows, even.
Yeah, so, well, the U.S. attacked many military bases, and the blows were so hard that some windows in the residential adjacent areas broke because of the strength of the explosion. But I can tell you that people are very happy about it, because Venezuelans are tired of 26 years of a regime that forced nearly 1/3 of us to leave our country.
Yes.
I mean, this is why I have no immediate relatives in Venezuela, because we all ended up leaving in the last 10 years. And many people want to go back. Many people want to visit back. You know how many friends and family I have, their loved ones, that if I were to step foot in the Venezuelan International Airport, I would be arrested because of the regime's persecution. And we want our country back, and so we're very happy about what President Trump did.
Yeah, and look, if you go back to your neighborhood, you're not going to recognize it, are you? Explain what this would feel like for an American who, you know, we've never had to deal with anything like that. We're counting our blessings that we're born in the zip codes that we have been. What's this all been like for you?
Well, imagine that you have the life that you currently have. Imagine that you have a car. Imagine that you go to a regular school. Imagine that you shop at your Walmart, and then suddenly there's something that disappears from the grocery store, then you have to line up for essential items, then inflation rises to not 10% a year, but 10% a day, and then 1,000,000% a year. And so you become extremely poor. Like my family, we went from making a few $1,000s a month in the early 2000s to making $100 a month in 2016. I had to put my fingerprint in a scanning machine so that the government could tell me what I was allowed to purchase. That is what socialism is in Venezuela. And so, of course, the Venezuelan people oppose Maduro. And of course, we're very happy about his overthrow.
Mm-hmm.
And what he said exactly what needed to be said. He called out Zohran, called out the American left, and laid it out plain. Socialism destroyed his country. That's not a theory. That's his real life. His money lost value overnight. Food became impossible to get. His neighbors disappeared. His family had to survive under a dictator who took everything. And now he's watching U.S. politicians who never missed a Starbucks order in their life defend the same dictator. Is sick. And this is what I keep trying to tell y'all. This is the real Democratic Party right now. You got one half talking about equality and freedom, and the other half defending You got another half out here defending authoritarian thugs just because they wear a red shirt and call themselves socialists. It's all performative. It's all fake. And this week just exposed all of it. These people are not fighting for freedom. They're fighting for control. They want to run your life, these Democrats. They want to control your money, your choices, your future. And if that means defending a dictator who turned his country into a wasteland, then so be it. Let's continue.
And what do you think about the democratic socialists in this country that are picking up steam?
Well, I unfortunately read earlier before this segment the statement of Mayor Zohran Mamdani saying that he actually condemns the attack and that he's thinking of all the Venezuelan New Yorkers. Well, as a Venezuelan who lives in the New York City area, I can tell you we do not stand with Mayor Mamdani. We stand with what President Trump did against the Maduro regime. And I think it's shameful for New York City's mayor to stand with a dictator, right? This is the mayor who says he wants to arrest Bibi Netanyahu. But then when we actually arrest an indicted criminal, which is Maduro, and he's going to be tried here, he condemns it? Well, seems like a double standard there.
I can tell you have a bit of a visceral reaction about Maduro as well. If we can put up that picture of him that Trump has posted on True Social and his matching sweatsuit there, what are your thoughts when you see this image?
it makes me so happy. It's one of the happiest days of my life. You know, he was challenging Trump a month ago, saying, you know, you're a coward, come and take me. Well, he came and took you. Now, welcome to the United States, and we're going to see you for trial here in New York City, and I look very much forward to lining up in that court to attend.
Yeah, look, Americans woke up this morning to the news, watching all of it unfold here on Morning in America, and then with Kelly Meyer and here with me now, and they were anxiously awaiting to hear from President Trump more about not just the attacks that happened and being able to pluck Maduro out of there and putting him on the warship on the way here, but what's next, right? What's next? So what do you want? You hear Trump saying in that press conference addressing the nation that the United States is effectively running Venezuela right now. How do you feel about that?
Well, I have no issue with that. I think it would be great for the United States to guarantee a peaceful transition. My understanding, though, and my goal, really, of what needs to happen is we want Venezuela to be a democratic country again, to be a free country. We already have an elected president, which is Edmundo Gonzalez, who won the election last year. He's the one who should be in charge eventually. And then Maria Corina Machado, she's the opposition leader. She's the most popular person. I know her. I think she's a great leader. She is somebody who is committed ideologically to freedom of enterprise, to privatizing the oil industry, to, you know, taking care of America's interest. And so that's what I hope for Venezuela's future.
Daniel, we're out of time, but where would you be without the United States today?
You know, I would probably be much thinner living in Venezuela if I hadn't been able to come to the United States. So I'm very, very grateful for this country, and I'm very, very grateful for President Trump, Secretary Rubio, and Hegseth for what they did today.
Well, we hope.
There you have it, folks. So we already saw the preview of this during the pandemic in the U.S., right? They told you when you could leave your house, forced businesses to shut down, printing money like crazy. And what happened? 9% inflation. The cost of everything went up. That was just a tiny taste of what full-blown socialism feels like. Venezuela is what happens when you turn it up to 100 and never turn it off. And here's the kicker. The people who still support this nonsense, they don't learn. They get burned and say, well, maybe we didn't do this the right way. Nah, y'all just refuse to admit it don't work. You'll watch a country fall apart and still try to run the same playbook here. And it's not just dumb, it's dangerous. So look, I hope this move by President Trump leads to a real transition in Venezuela, which I have faith it will. And I hope that country can finally breathe, finally rebuild, and maybe some of millions of people who had to flee can one day go back home and live in peace. And guess what? That helps us too in the US, because we got a massive migration problem right now, and we closed up for shop. Our borders isn't open, right? And if Venezuela can finally get its stuff together, maybe we can ease that burden, right? We ease that burden not just here in the US, but in Colombia, Brazil, Peru, everywhere. Venezuelans had to run too. But that ain't what the American left want, right? They want to see capitalism. They don't want to see capitalism win. They don't want to see socialism fail, even when the proof is right there in their face. They'd rather see a country burn. They'd rather see people starve than admit they were wrong. And that's the scariest part, because they keep pretending like they're the good guys, like they're fighting for the people, but deep down they're just fighting for control. They don't care who suffers as long as they get to be in charge. Anyway, let me know what you guys think down in the comments below. Drop a like, share this video with somebody who still believes socialism works. And as always, don't get played by these clowns. Keep your eyes open, stay sharp, and protect your freedom at all costs. Spread that peace, love, and positivity. Let the love supersede the hate. And as always, we just having a conversation. Peace.